All right, Foxy. I just looked at this video, and it's just the stuff we've been talking about. So I'm gonna let you look at a few just in regular motion, and then I'm gonna slow it down and break it down for you. Okay? But just watch how your back hip never really gets set, so your whole timing is a crash to the ball instead of timing your hip in a rhythm. But again, all fixable. But just watch it for a minute.
What kind of stride is hips not getting low. See what happens.
Couple more. Actually, let's stop on that one because that was a pretty decent swing. So we gotta get you more relaxed, of course, but let's go back to that one. All right. So here's our stance. Now, I would like, hold on, let me put it in slow motion. I would like to put you more in your stance, starting more there. Dadgummit. Starting more somewhere in there. See how much more right there. That ought to be your stance. From there, you got very little to do to get our back hip loaded or connected, like we're always talking about. But since you start a little more out of it, more straight up, and again, I don't need you all the way back on your back leg. See where I'm just wanting you more right there. You just look more ready, correct? Okay, so I'd like for our stance to look more like that. It's a simple adjustment, right? And then let's watch when you pick your foot up off the ground. See how your hip clicks in? So when you pick up your foot, instead of being loaded already, you're trying to load there, which gets cheated. The hip gets cheated right here. Right there. And so then you fly straight to that ball. So you've got that more of a lunge or more of a, what I call crash. And so instead of being more there when you kick. Now, if I could get your positioning, so we start a little more ready, and then when you pick your foot up right there, right there, I want your hip should be pretty much lined up with that shoe, right, the inside part of your shoe right there. So your hip needs to be back here when that foot comes off the ground, okay? But in that kind of position that you're in right there, that's a loaded position where that hip is. See, it's not loaded, not loaded, not loaded, loaded. You've got to get to that position, Fox, before this foot comes off the ground. Again, I just want you to get your eyes on this to show you it's super simple, man. So we don't need to change a whole lot. We need to change when you do it. But again, think if you started here in your stance instead of there. You started here. So then, foot still on the ground, foot still on the ground, foot still on the ground. Now we got loaded. That's when you start picking your foot up right there. Okay? So then when that happens, now your back hip will actually be timing a rotation to the ball. Instead of when you pick up, you're timing a load to the ball, which gets it to where it'd be hit or miss. I mean, if you're on time, you're great. If you're off, and it's bad. So that's most young hitters. So instead of us being like that, so watch where you land. Since you're not loaded, when you pick up, you try to load there. And now when your front foot lands, you are wide open, wide open, wide open. Now the arm gets really wrapped and the backside collapses. Okay? This is every young hitter, what they look like when they land, when they don't have their hip locked in or their hip connected before they kick. So when you land right there, you're already committed to go. So there's no way you can stay back on a slow pitch or a curve ball. And it's hard to catch up with super fastballs, especially in the majors now with you. Okay, so we have to fix this. All right, look where you land right there. Let me show you where you should be landing. We'll get to your swing in a minute. All right, if you picked your foot up, there's that, man, that thing's fully loaded right there, Fox. If you are right here, well, again, it's hard to draw a line. But if you're more here with the positioning of that hip, but in that loaded position, that's a very good loaded position. Now when you come back down, you will be able to land in that kind of position. Foot will be on the ground. You're as centered as you can be. Arms not all wrapped up. It could still be more relaxed, of course, but that's much better. And look at your backside. Everything's still strong. That's where we have to start landing. So then when you land that foot, then all you have to do is react to the ball. Make a turn here and react with your hands. Super simple. So watch how hard it is for you, though, because you land there. Big difference, right? Instead of landing in that, where you got all your power left, have all your power, or land with nothing left. You have nothing left there. And so it's just you got a little turn to the ball. And that's a good, by the way, that's a good swing. Yeah. But the reason why you catch it there instead of out there, because all of this flies open, your belly button leads, and your hands drag. And it's all, but what I'm getting at is we don't have to worry about the swing. We have to get the positioning right. So think about it. We're talking about positioning, Fox. We're not talking about how you have to change mechanics and stuff like that. So that's why I don't want you confused on this and understanding it's a simple adjustment. Easier said than done, though, because it takes time and it takes a little maturity. To start feeling this stuff, but I want you to start doing it. Because again, watch. Let's watch how long you're loaded in this at bat. You just got loaded and you're already unloaded. Again, I like the swing. There's not going to be much power behind that, bub. Again, this is a crash to the ball. You're loading right there. You're tightening up your hands. Everything's getting tight here because you're loading. Your back hip gets loaded for a split second. See how your whole move is to load those dang hands, and he gets ignored. They don't need a move to get loaded. They get loaded there on the ground before you kick. You get them in that slot right in there before you even think about that, Bubba. Okay? It's getting that separated. You cannot blend getting your hands back and kicking, because watch who gets cheated. This bad boy. He gone. And so now again, when you land, open, straight back, stiff, and all your power is collapsed. So you have no power there. Again, because you have a good swing, you can run into a ball every once in a while and hit double. And maybe even hit one off the wall. I don't know. But you're not going to be consistent with it. But again, let's watch the swing. I love it. But the reason why we make contact pretty much on the side of us instead of more out in front is because of all that front side opening up. And believe me, I know you don't mean to open up. But with your move right now, because you blend everything, you're going to have a hard time not opening up. So that's when I faked you. So again, man, that's a good looking load. Like the way you're doing it, you've really done a good job, man. So I'm proud of you how you do it, but it's not enough separation. Again, all this, we're getting our hands set there, perfect, but don't start moving that yet. Don't start moving all this yet. Get your hands, then we start loading, so then you can actually get there. I mean, we're talking, what, 1 inch, 2? So we can actually get there before we kick, and then our hands can stay nice and calm and relaxed instead of shooting back right there a little bit. And then again, watch your hip get cheated. He's not even loaded anymore, Fox. He got, man, he got loaded for a split second. Watch this. Watch this click. I'm going to go in slow motion. Just clicks you and then rides you forward. Okay, and that was a fake. But I think hopefully getting your eyes on this and really seeing it is going to show you, man, we're a small adjustment away, not a big adjustment. No matter how bad it gets, always remember that. You're a small adjustment away, because you've done a good job of cleaning up everything from when I first met you. And it's now just maturing a little bit and understanding that the longer we get in that position, in that position, again, but I want you here a little bit further back in that positioning, where your back hip is sitting right on the inside part of that shoe, okay? But loaded. That is loaded. Your hip is loaded right there. But again, we want to be in this position, the position you're in right there, when we land. When you land, you've already lost that positioning. And look how tight all that is, tight that is. And again, look at your backside. Collapsed. No power. Open, so your swing's going to get long. And then we'll make contact on the side of us. Again, you're fighting your butt off. Those are good swings, buddy. So I'm not complaining. What I'm saying is we got room for some huge improvements on the field just by making this small adjustment. Again, great load. Everything you're doing great, but you're not in it long enough. So then you can't truly hit out of a rhythm. So you're a crasher. Don't feel bad about it. So are all your teammates probably. Okay? Some crashers get away with it more than others. Some can't hit it all with it. But it's just understanding, maturing a little bit on this, and understanding being in a power position, that position, which is a great position, Fox, being in that position before you pick this foot up, again, slightly, just a little bit more back, but in that position on the ground, you do not pick your foot up until you feel all that power. Now, again, I'd like this a little more relaxed, but we'll worry about that later. But that kind of position, look at your stomach all the way loaded. Look at that hip all the way in there. Those hands are back right on top of that shoe. Perfect. You're just not in it long enough, bub. Because when you land, you should look like that still. When your foot comes back on the ground, you should be in that position. That's your launch position that we talk about. Centered, as strong as you could possibly be. Everything is still loaded. Compared to everything leaked when you land. And just to be honest with you, if you're playing against good coaches on the other side, I don't know if you'll see a fastball. You're going to see all breaking balls because it's going to be really hard to stay back on that, okay? But again, very fixable. Very fixable. And again, we don't even have to talk about your swing. You got a great swing, and it's going to even be better when you're in a better position. You're not fighting your butt off just to get there. Just to get there. You'll be hitting from here. Somewhere in there, here. Somewhere in there, right there. You'll be hitting here. That ball will still be out here. You'll be crushing that ball out there, okay? That's when you'll have a chance to start hitting home runs eventually. All right? So think about it. You land here because of your move. I need you landing here because you're cleaner on your move. Boom. Boom. centered instead of up front. Centered. That's where we're going to be landing. All right, brother. I hope this helped. Again, I think you're doing great. But if we make this little fix and you take this in the games, you're going to be amazed on what you can do, brother. All right, man. Good luck Saturday.